with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I am once again live. First and foremost, I want to thank each and everybody that showed up for the live streams yesterday. I forgot that I did too, but we did discuss, the spontaneous, out of the air, out of the blue phenomenon that happened, to Donald Trump. Donald Trump was shot. Okay. But I think most importantly, people need to realize that, there was someone that was killed. And I said in that first live that anybody that was shot, any innocent person, I think they should be amplified versus Donald Trump. He was the target, but somebody else got killed in the process, along with the victim. The shooter. The shooter was gunned down yesterday, so they did find out who he was. They're trying to find out who he is affiliated with, and all that stuff, And I think that I don't know, because see, here's the thing about it. I'm not a politician, so I'm not. People ask me who you vote for. I'm like, who did I vote for? I'm like this. This is a boxing channel, right? I'm not a politician. I don't really indulge in affairs when it comes to things that, for one, I don't care about, but things that I don't really prey on. Because if you're your own individual person, you have a right to make your own decisions. I'm the head of my household. Nobody else is. So nobody can tell me what is what. I've been working for myself for a very long time. And that I think should be, acknowledged for each and every entrepreneur out there. That if you have a skill or a talent or a grade or a trade, you should indulge in that. And your opinions, I do feel that you should keep it to yourself unless. Sorry, I just finished eating. I don't know what that is, and I really should start taking my medicine, for it's reflux. So, but yeah, unless your opinions are violated or whatever. But I mean, your opinions are your opinions. If you care to share them, someone else always has an opinion and disagree with you. But that should never be a reason why someone should find in their mind to, hey, I want to stop this person's opinion on how they think and walk and act and all that stuff. I just think it's weird, for someone to do that. Absolutely. It's just like, okay, and the guy that did it, he was supposed to be a Republican. But I mean, Republican, Democrat, all that, independent, it is what it is. XEV. Uh, but I think the prayers and thought should go to the person that was killed. And I'm not talking about the shooter. The shooter, he's an example of people that take shit way too far. And it is what it is. Basically, in a nutshell, you know. Very quiet here today. Where is everybody? I don't know. I think people I think people were looking for to see what happened to him. They know he survived. I know a lot of people are probably like, "Oh shit." He lived. Orange hair lived. The orange, and then it's like, well, and I think that's quite sad actually, but it is what it is. But I mean, that's what happens when you start worshiping politics. That's what happens. People start worshiping politics. You start putting so much into politics that it becomes an obsession. You know how people can be. They that's all they talk about. It's so like, okay, dude, go out, go to the park, go to the gym, get along with, be nice to each other, get along with one another. It's simple, not hide behind. And then really, a lot of people are really hateful anyway. you know, and they use politics as a tool to disagree, to only create and push more hate, you know, and that's from all sides. And I've seen that through and through, you know, because I've been around for a while and I've seen quite a few presidents in my day, you know, before and after I could vote, and, you know, and it was all the same stuff. You know, you found people that agreed and didn't agree, and because they didn't agree, they become violent. Listen, we watch the sport of boxing all the time to see people beat each other up. You know, we watch that shit. We love to see that. It's a good release when you see your fighter, based on your hopes and dreams for the fighter that you like and you follow, beat someone. Either it's by an inch or a mile. Winning's winning, said Dominic Toretto, Fast and the Furious. Shout out to Vin Diesel. Right? But at the end of the day, we don't do it. You know? So it is what it is. But like killing something that's so final, you know, on this earthly realm. It's so final. They don't know how to agree with each other and fix things up. No. But it's crazy. I watch a lot of Game of Thrones, and a lot of that is politics. And you deal with underhanded stuff, that a lot of stuff that's not said or not heard, but has happened. And you watch shows like that, it gets you to understand, just like Peter Dinklage, not Peter Dinklage, but Littlefinger, right? Littlefinger said it himself best: chaos is a ladder. You know what I mean? And it's so true how people can use certain things to catapult themselves. You know, and I just think you should really pay attention to that. You know, Trump is sea walking to Kendrick Lamar. They not like us. You know, he should be thankful he's alive, because if that guy was, if he wasn't an amateur, and obviously the guy was a straight up amateur, he did not know what the hell he was doing. You know what I mean? He did not know, and maybe he was far enough away. I don't know where he was, okay, because I just seen it this morning. And before I got up and got ready and all that stuff. And I noticed that whatever, you know, he didn't know about wind velocity, you know, and if he was that far away, you could tell he wasn't anywhere close when he took the shot or the shots. You know what I mean? And the fucking idiot killed somebody innocent. That's what I'm pissed about. The only people are dead is the person that shot and the person that wasn't supposed to be shot. So the shooter's dead and the innocent person's dead. You know what I mean? And it pisses me off, because it's like, what, you know, that person was just rallying for that. And here's the thing. This is what it could do, okay? It could deter people from going to rallies. Because if they know people will get to the point, because somebody has already crossed the line. You know what I mean? And they know that they've crossed that line. What's stopping anybody else from crossing the line? What's stopping somebody else from doing the shit again? What's stopping it? You know what I mean? So if one person can do that, then that one person, that one idiot, that one stupid soul crosses the line. He could encourage other people too, because what I noticed about Americans, we are weak-minded people. We are followers to a certain degree. A lot of people are followers and not leaders. You know, so you'll have one person that leads and so many after them to follow. You know, and here's the thing. Following is not necessarily bad. Okay, it's bad when you follow the wrong things to the point where the person that you're following is corrupted. Mama Lou, what's up? Counterpunch to you. And that's the thing. Like, let's say this. Let's use a boxing fight, for example. I remember the most horrific thing, or craziest thing that I ever saw in a boxing match, was when Riddick Bowe was fighting Evander Holyfield. I think it was their second fight, the rematch. And some idiot came in with a parachute, and he flew in with a damn parachute, and he meant to jump in the ring. Now, I don't know what his purpose was, I think that's what it was. I don't know what it was, what he thought he was going to do when he jumped his ass in there with two boxers with gloves on. You know what I mean? I don't know what he thought he was going to do, but he did. You know, he attempted to, and they whooped his ass. The crowd whooped his ass. The cops whooped his ass. You know, security whooped his ass. He got a well whooped ass whooping coming into a fight like that. You know what I mean? And for a while, what it did was it stopped a lot of people from really wanting to come, because they're like, well, you know, because people get scared too. People get scared of shit. You know, they get apprehensive. They get, you know, they get nervous. And they're like, oh, well, wait a minute. Well, if this happened here, this could happen anywhere. You know, Julian Falcon, what's up, brother? You gonna run for president anytime soon? Nah, man. Nope. The only thing I'm running for is 100,000 views and up. For the people that love boxing, because we should keep boxing alive, past, present, and future boxing. That's the only thing that I want to do. I don't want to do anything else. I'm not a politician. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not, like, a lot of times, you know, I don't have the energy for a lot of things. I'm just like you guys. Sometimes you want to see something, talk to people. Sometimes you don't. You know? It's just like sometimes, you know, if you're not feeling too well, you might not see me post as much. Sometimes you see me post a hell of a lot. Sometimes not. Sometimes not at all. But I can tell you this, you know, I would rather talk and connect with people that are like me. You know what I mean? Now, we could have a different opinion, but if we have something in common and it's called the sport of boxing, there you go. You know, I just hate the fact that this happened. I feel bad for the innocent person. And, you know, I have to let that known. Like I told you guys, I would let it be known, you know, that, you know, I mean, if there was somebody innocent, I'm glad that they did acknowledge that person. You know, everybody's talking about the dumbass shooter. He's some fucking young kid that didn't know what didn't have his head on straight and wanted to shoot the president. And in fact, certain people do things just to be noticed. Maybe he was just a nobody asshole with a low self-esteem and he wanted to be known. A lot of people do that. A lot of people ask, like, why did you do a particular thing? And they don't have a fucking reason for it. They just did it. I wanted to do it because I wanted to be famous for doing it. So a lot of people do things for notoriety. A lot of people do things for buzz. So, you know, it happens. It happens in this world, you know. Let me get my stuff out real quick. So we don't know. They're asking all these questions about somebody that's dead. Now, I understand it was like no one has done that in a very long time. Nobody. You know, when it comes to assassination attempts, nobody has done that shit in absolute years. No one. Okay? You know, but to blast the dude like he did, they'll never know. They never know what his purpose was. So we'll never know really truly what it is unless they find somebody else that he was probably with that knew, that could tell us what happened and why did he choose to do what he did. Kurt, may we ask you, or Joe, I said, Kurt, may we ask who you like more, Trump or Joe? Well, I'll tell you this. For the most part. Both of those guys are old, you know? Honestly, I don't like neither. And I'm going to tell you why. I don't like neither simply because they're both old. You know? And based on what I've learned, because we've had both in office or whatever, I think that, oh shit. Damn, what happened to my, hold on a second. Uh, I think it's all a game, honestly. I think, a lot of things in politics, if you think, and what I've learned about politics, if you think the president runs the world, you're sadly mistaken. They're the ambassador, you know? Reagan, now Trump. Reagan is more like Trump now because Reagan was once an actor that turned politician that became a president. Okay. And the crazy thing about it, I was a kid in the 80s, so I couldn't tell you much about how things were because I was a kid. And, between my mom and dad, my mom was a teacher. My dad was a security guard at a government firm and a government army base. So my father worked on an army base and my mother was a teacher. Okay, so I really didn't get the whole, hey, I'm poor, broke. 'Cause I didn't grow up poor or broke. I didn't grow up in a one family household. I grew up in a rural area where we did the same shit over and over again. I heard politics in the house and it made me wonder, as I grew, okay, because you've seen things on TV. Hell, I remember when Jesse Jackson was running and the whole thing, Jesse Jackson, didn't win, and all this stuff. And like, I seen my parents talk about it as though they were going to church. Noel Leon, English or Spanish. ¿Por qué no ambos? ¿Por qué no hablar ambos? ¿Por qué no? Porque yo conozco ambos. But anyway, I think that itself was more like certain type of entertainment that we thought that was important, and it wasn't as important as people thought it was. Not saying politics is not important because I think the presidency is not as important than people think it is. Like, I think city councilmen, who's your mayor, you know what I mean, the governor, those particular people run what you do around your area, and I think people should know that. You know what I mean? It is what it is. If you move, you're gay. I don't know. I don't know what that means. You know. But no, I mean, what we have here, we have Joe Biden, and we have Donald Trump. Both of those guys were presidents. Did any of them do something to affect our lives as Americans? Yes, they did. That's the crazy thing. And then here's the thing about the government. Anything that the government is attached to, it has to be something a lot worse. Something has to be bad when the government informs you. You know what I mean? It's almost like, you get those messages that when someone gets kidnapped and you're like, oh man, what happened? Oh, so and so has been captured, last seen in a red Nissan truck, you know what I mean? With alleged so and so, so and so. So I look at that whole thing as, a serious issue because that's serious and it's nothing, never good. And what I noticed about COVID, because when we were in COVID, I had a bad argument with a relative, and they were just telling me about, oh man, Biden made the vaccine. I'm like, dude, Biden came in after COVID, and like, why would you? Okay, why are you praising or damning a president for something scientists do? It's just stupid. You know, scientists have theories. That's how science works. Scientists go by theories that they're taught. Okay, so when everybody was getting sick or dying, we didn't even have a vaccine. We stayed at home. You guys remember, I was there right with everyone else in the whole world when we had COVID going on. And when they told us to do what? Stay at home, it saves lives, right? You know what I mean? And it's like, okay, that's what happened. And I remember getting a lot of money. I remember getting a lot of money. You know, so we got stimulus, we got our stimulus package, we had what else did we have? The I forget what you call it, but they gave us extra money on top of extra money, and we absolutely did nothing with it. You know, I sat at home, I worked out one day, I drank one day. You know what I mean? It's like every day I did something crazy, and I went to sleep at 4 in the morning every day. I woke up at 2 or 3 in the afternoon because it was just so crazy on how things were because it was nothing to do because no one made you do anything. You know what I mean? And you know, I witnessed older relatives passing away, which was very sad to me. And you know, and the whole thing is, um, maybe we shouldn't have. Maybe the superiors, maybe the president at the time, maybe he should have took the shit more serious. But then no one really knew how bad it was going to be. So, you know, it's in hindsight, right? So no one really knew how bad that shit was going to be. You had people still saying it was a bunch of shit. Okay, that it was, which was dumb. But here's the thing: even that was believable at the time, unless you got sick. So, a question to everybody, all 83 of you, by Y's and N's, how many people believed COVID was a fake until you got sick yourselves? How many people, let's just put it this way, how many people got sick from COVID? Give me a yes, you got sick, or a no, you never got sick. Can I get that from you guys? Let's get active. Who had COVID and who didn't have COVID? Yes, you had COVID. Why? And you had COVID. No, or never. Leo Foster. No, you haven't had it. Anahomo Gabriel. Yes. Bruno D. No. Okay. Dion Shepard. Yes. Bruno D. Everything was COVID. Marlon Thornell. Counterpunch to you. Yes, I got sick. Bruno D. The test didn't work. Okay. Um, Elnica. Oi. Okay. X. Nope. I had a flu or cold. Stewart. No. Delray Day. No. Louis Spring. Yes. I got a sore throat for 2 days. Revelation TV. I never believed it. I got sick, but I didn't take the jab. Okay. Mama Lou. Yes. You got sick. Okay. Who else? Who else did you get sick or you didn't get sick? Because actually, right now, my friend tested some fruit and sent it to be tested, come back positive. Wow. Okay. All right. Who else? Who else got sick? Yes, I had it twice, Mama Lou. I had it twice too, to be fair. Let's see, what the hell is that? I got sick for 3 days. Okay, Phil. Okay, who else? Yes, I threw up after eating and stayed in bed for 3 days. Okay. Cold and flu just vanished in that 2 year, Kurt. Was strange. That was strange too. That was really strange. Let me turn off boomerang. I know what this is. Oh my god. I had to turn off one of my favorite movies, Boomerang, 1992. Okay. It wasn't in the food, it was airborne. Okay. My grandpa died from it, Bobby Collins. Man, I'm sorry about that. I had a cousin that he was 87 and he passed away. Uh, and he was a close relative of mine. So that was probably that was the closest person that passed away from that. And here's the sad thing. The sad thing is how isolated people were. And you have to understand where if you're sick with any illness, the last thing you want to hear from any fucking body is that you can't see your loved ones and they know you're sick as shit. You know what I mean? Jeremy Weir. And I almost died from it myself. Yeah, shout out to Bobby Collins, man. Um, who else? Who else got sick from COVID? They feel. You know what I mean? Because it's like, either you got sick, because here's the thing, if you got sick or you got the flu, maybe you just had the flu a lot of times, you know? And here's the thing, people actually die from the flu too. So that's what made it very difficult to really discern unless you go and get tested. And a lot of people, I have a lot of friends that don't believe in any of that shit. I got sick from the vaccine. Well, here's the thing. I don't believe that vaccine was a true vaccine. I think it was something that was meant to be a vaccine that was rushed. And it was rushed because people were looking for answers because people were scared. Since people were scared, they put pressure on other people to work diligently to put together something that they feel that may work based on what? You know what I mean? They had tests, and the tests were conducted on a certain hundreds of people. Okay. And certain people, I don't know, some got sick, and I don't know how that was really viewed in the media. But when it was, I guess, safe enough to go out, they sent it out and made people take it. And the thing is, this is what I didn't like about the last president or the current one we have. You have people that have been in the medical field, okay, for what? Since the shit started, risking their lives to make sure people's well, people taking their meds, you know what I mean? People are still alive, and they're there with this shit, and they're risking getting sick. And they know and they're aware of what people were pushing out. Tyson Fury caught COVID. I don't think Tyson caught COVID either. I think that's a bunch of bullshit because he wasn't acting like a COVID victim. That's why I was so angry. And those things are what started me on Tyson. And it's not that I don't like Tyson. It's the fact that Tyson Fury started doing things that made me wonder, like, okay, for one, he was beat all the hell up. Jared Anderson pieced his ass up. That's what happened. He got pieced up in sparring. That's why they started praising Jared Anderson. Then all of a sudden, it wasn't Tyson that's supposed to had it. This is truth. It was Joseph Parker. They found Joseph Parker's ass smiling with a beer and a damn popcorn watching a damn fight. So how can you tell me that this man, Joseph Parker, the first person that's supposed to caught COVID in that pool, how can you say it was him when the day after they saw his ass smiling, eating some damn popcorn and drinking a beer? Stick to boxing. We're talking about boxing. We're talking about Joseph Parker supposed to had COVID. He was supposed to be the first member that had COVID. And then Tyson's supposed to had COVID. Here's the only problem. Tyson was found in the casino taking pictures with fans, hugging up with them. I mean, like hugging. I'm like, wait a minute. Well, why would you say you had COVID? Then we caught you trying to rent fucking high-priced cars from this dealer. In Vegas, you can rent cars and drive down the strip and look fucking important. So he was there looking at cars to rent, okay? And he was caught being and hanging out with fans, trying to make a name for himself. Nobody remembers his name. I don't know who that is. American knew about it years before, and when family caught out the lab, we jumped on China saying it's their fault. There was all partying while we was locked down. Well, I'll tell you this. I don't think Tyson had COVID. I think and then he goes on and gets on a plane and goes to another country. That doesn't even make sense to me. That's bullshit. And here's the thing. God bless the people that actually caught COVID, that actually got really sick from COVID, that died from COVID. Because I'm tired of the cop out, because there was so many people that use COVID to their own advantage. Google Johnny Crew, okay? Boris Johnson, did he say he had symptoms from COVID, or did he just show up positive on the test? I mean, Parker. No, they said that he had it, you know, and he didn't deny that he didn't have it. So there you go. So no, Tyson didn't catch it. You know who caught it? Oscar De La Hoya caught it. He was hospitalized with it. That's the person that caught it, Oscar De La Hoya. Oscar caught the shit. Marvelous Marvin Hagler took the jab. 2 days later, or a week later, he died. Yeah. Yeah, our kings of the 80s took the jab and died. Oscar De La Hoya he was double vaxxed and got sick as shit. And who's to say that it wasn't from the jab or from COVID itself? You know, I don't believe. This is what I want to believe, okay? This is what I want to believe. I want to believe that the vaccine helped some people. But I also want to believe that it didn't help some people. And I also want to believe that it hurt some people. So it either hurt you, didn't help you at all, and you could get sick anyway, or the vaccine hurt you, COVID hurt you because it didn't work, and they made you take it. And they made us take it. And we had people talking about the shit as though it was Jesus Christ and Allah and Buddha all at the same damn time. You know how you can get your taxes better? Take the vaccine. I'm like, come on, bro. Come on, stop that. You know what I mean? So, and here's the problem. Isaac, I took the vaccine. Here's the problem. If you took the vaccine, it turned political, because people then say, oh, yeah, you took the vaccine, so that means you're this side or that side. And I'm like, no, you took the vaccine because you were told it was going to help you. That's all. And you decided, let me take the vaccine because I think it will help me. You know what I mean? So you had one group of people talking about another group of people that took the vaccine. But the fucked up part was you had the equal reaction. You had guys like Don the Rock Johnson. This motherfucker, he goes and says, hey, I don't want to work with anybody that didn't have the vaccine. And I'm thinking, okay, bro, if you had the vaccine, the narrative is the vaccine was supposed to do what? One, it was supposed to protect you from giving it to other people. It's supposed to protect you. It's supposed to protect you, right? You from other people, and you from getting the vaccine. I mean, getting the COVID. That's what it's supposed to do. You know what I mean? And people saying, I don't want it. I don't want people that are unvaxxed around me. And I'm thinking, why wouldn't you want people unvaxxed around you if you took the vaccine? If you believe that the vaccine is supposed to do why you took it, why are you worried? You should be either encouraging people, man, you got to get that vaccine, but saying, I don't want nothing to do with any of them. Now you're just saying, hey, I'm better than you because I took the vaccine and you didn't. Because I'm smarter than you and you're not as smart as me because you're stupid. Because I took the vaccine and we're right over here and all you guys are wrong over there. So it was a big shit show. It was terrible. You know what I mean? And look, and that whole thing was bad. And it made you really think about, well, if you got people that are pushing shit like that and making a diverse, wedging the people, is not good. How does that apply to boxing? Oh, that's simple. How many boxers caught COVID? How many boxers caught COVID? I mean, a lot. Oscar De La Hoya, he caught COVID. Um, Tyson claims he caught COVID. I don't believe that shit. Alexander Povetkin, when he knocked out Dillian White, he caught COVID. Oscar was, oh my God, I'm so sick. I did everything right. Right? Um, who else caught COVID that was a boxer? Who else caught COVID? Usyk caught COVID. And then here's the thing, Usyk didn't even tell anyone he caught COVID. And for a fact, I'll tell you this, to be fair. Um, it's like a lot of times you didn't even want to say you caught it because it was almost like you caught AIDS or something. But Oscar was ducking the comeback fight. What comeback fight? Who was he going to fight? He was going to fight somebody. I forgot who it was. Was it Carl Froch? No, it wasn't Carl Froch. Who was Oscar going to fight? Some people are more immune to COVID than others naturally. I had a friend that caught COVID and was sick for a while, but nothing serious. Was it, yeah, was it Vito? Was it, oh, Vito Belfort? Yeah, I think it was Vito Belfort. Yeah, because he beat up Evander Holyfield, didn't he? Oh, that was sad. Was that him? Was that Belfort that just embarrassed the shit out of Holyfield in the ring, in the boxing ring? Victor Belfort, you know? Um, so no. So Usyk didn't tell anyone he had it until like 2 years after. After he beat Joshua, he told people he had COVID. You know, um, I was afraid to clear my throat in public because people would automatically think, yeah, I mean that's exactly what happened. You couldn't cough much. People turned into assholes. People turned into just insensitive people. They didn't want you around them. It was very sad, bro. It was very, very sad that at that period of time. And I think, you know, I think they handled it all wrong. I just what I believe. I think they handled it all wrong. Um, and before I get off COVID, I'll tell you, I caught COVID in 2021. Um, and here's the thing: if it wasn't really for, because I quarantined in Irving, in Las Colinas, Texas, and I caught it in Texas. Ended up going to another country, got sick, flew back over, right, to quarantine. Because I flew back to quarantine. I'm like, I'm not staying in another country to quarantine, bro. You know, but um, for about 3 days, yeah, I felt like shit. I felt weird. I felt lightheaded. I felt kind of cloudy. You know, my thoughts really weren't together. I was having this like weird, like moist shit. And my skin's oily. I never wear lotion because I have oily skin naturally. You guys can tell it's fucking oily naturally. And but that time I had this film of stuff. It was weird coming off of my skin. And I did when I had my other channel. I did a because you couldn't talk about COVID back then. You know, they would demonetize you if you talked about COVID. So anything COVID related, you couldn't talk about. So I did a live on my journey with it. And for about 4 days, I felt like weak. I did feel weak. I felt kind of problems breathing. Not too much though. I just felt weird. You know, my heart was pumping differently. You know, so yeah. Sorry if I got political, but really appreciate your channel, bro. I have a blessed day, my friend. Marlon Thornell, no problem. Food becomes tasteless. Yeah, I lost some taste. I lost some taste. I had some Marco's pizza. I had two pizzas. So I got a Marco's pizza and I would have a couple slices a day. I got some, excuse me, I got some emergency. I got a shitload of water. I got some soup. I got some cough syrup. I got some ibuprofen. Yeah, yeah, and And I have to tell you, it was lonely as shit. I didn't tell my dad because my dad was so pro-vax kind that like I didn't really want to talk to him about it because he was just like, "Oh, you better get it. You better get it." And every time you talk to him, he was saying the same shit. I'm like, "Yo, shut up. I don't want to hear you talk about fucking vaccinations because for him it wasn't about vaccinations. It was about who was pushing vaccinations. You know, you know what I mean? You better get it. I'm like, get what? You better get vaxxed. I'm telling you. Okay, cool. But nonetheless, the political thing, it's over. Thank God. Now, let's talk about some boxing. All right. Um, Recap yesterday. Jared Boots Ennis, bro, came through. That dude, let me tell you about that dude. You know, this guy has like a three, wait, welterweight, super welterweight, middleweight, and super middleweight. He has a four division plan. Eddie Hearn has a four division plan for Jared Boots Ennis. Okay. And it's first of all to unify welterweight. Okay, so he's going to fight guys like Crawley, which he was supposed to fight. He beat Avanesian last night. You know, what's the guy's name? Uh, I said it last night. I forgot it. Um, Kurt, did you get the Vax? Revelation TV. I got the natural Vax. I got the natural Vax. Um, what's his name? I forget his name. Damn. But he's supposed to fight him too. Okay. And welterweight's not a stacked. It's not a stacked division no more. There's not a lot of people there. I was hoping that guys like Devin Haney, Ryan Garcia, Teofimo Lopez, I thought they would, when they got older, they would eventually go to 147, which that still may be the case. Um, so no, not Vincent. I don't know why that was. But anyway, I think that is going to be, this is the beginning for Jared Boots Ennis. Eddie Hearn, he sees a vision in Jared Boots Ennis. Good promoter, bro. Eddie Hearn, you can tell he loves what he does. You know, is Bud better than Boots? Lefo. Here's the thing: we don't know, and I don't think we will ever know. And I'm going to tell you why. Unfortunately, we will never know if Boots Ennis is better than Terrence Crawford because Terrence Crawford is like Boots fighting Terrence Crawford. It's almost like this. You guys ever look at up at a star? Okay, that star could be millions of light years away, but you can see it with the naked eye in space. Well, the reality of you traveling to that star, by the time you actually physically get to the star is not there. It's already burnt out. You know what I mean? So maybe, they're saying you're looking at a reflection. Boxing is the same thing. Okay, Terrence Crawford is at 154. Okay, Terrence Crawford is at 154. Are you watching Euro 2? No, not right now. But I'm about to turn it on though. So he's at 154 and he's 36. Jared Boots Ennis is what, 27 years old and he's at welterweight. By the time he gets from welterweight to super welterweight, Terrence Crawford will either be retired, no longer there, or he will be older and it will be more in the favor of Jared beating Terrence Crawford. So when you ask me, is Terrence Crawford a yeah, that's pissing me off. Go away. Um Terrence Crawford is um Anyway, yeah, you dudes acting weird. And like if you're acting weird, go away. You know, let's go. Okay, okay, there we go. Like I think that Terrence Crawford needs to fight Jared Ennis right now to become, relevant. Like I don't look at and nor should anyone give anyone 100% credit for fighting someone older. You know what I mean? So I don't think that that's what it is. You know, what the hell is wrong with you guys? I mean, where the hell does sexuality come into here? Like what is this shit about? I mean, because I like lately I've noticed that I've been going live and I've been hearing a lot of that shit going on. Like, what the hell is what are we talking about? Okay. Yeah. Where are my moderators when I need them? Because this shit's like, yeah, this shit's pissing me off. Like, yeah, I don't know where they come from, but they gotta go. Yeah, they're trolling, man, and it's like I haven't had a lot of that in a while, but recently I have. You know, when is Andy Ruiz fighting? Andy Ruiz is fighting the same night that Terrence Crawford will be tested. You know, yep, yep. There we go. Mama Lou, I put you in charge, man. Because I mean, this is like I'm trying to stay focused. You know what I mean? And it's just like, yo, it's really getting on my nerves. You know what I mean? Um, but anyhow, July 3rd, Terrence Crawford will be tested by Gennady Golovkin Jr. Gennady Golovkin Jr. Um, is like Madrimov is a guy that I think should be taken very seriously. And again, I've always said that Terrence Crawford never really gets the credit for fighting guys like Madrimov. See, here's the thing. If Terrence Crawford beats Madrimov, what happens then? Nobody else wants to fuck with anybody that Terrence has fought. The only person that Terrence has beaten in someone else's fault is Danny Garcia. Jose Benavidez. He knocks out Jose Benavidez, which was a tough customer for 11 rounds, actually 12 rounds, right? He gave Terrence Crawford a hell of a fight. He gave him a hell of a fight. They had this big rivalry before the fight. It was a nasty build-up before the fight. It got kind of dangerous because, he shoved Terrence Crawford. Terrence Crawford took a swing at him, and then boom, and it was like, damn. And he knocks Jose Benavidez out in one round. And it's like, okay, who else has fought Jose Benavidez? Then they called him a bum. Oh, he's a bum. But no one else fought him besides Danny Garcia like last year. And that was like how many years ago? Like 3 years in the making. Then it took you guys 3 years to somebody else to fight that guy that Terrence Crawford beat. But the guy that he beat when he fought him was undefeated. Okay, the same for Madrimov. Madrimov could very well beat the shit out of everyone at 154. You know what I mean? He could knock out tall ass Fondora. He could have knocked him out. You know what I mean? He could have had a hell of a fight with Tim Tszyu. You know, and it's crazy. You have Mondramov, you have Tszyu, you have Fondora. You still got Jermell Charlo. I don't know what he's been doing lately, honestly. I don't know what he's doing. I mean, I know he went to 168 and he fought Canelo and kind of showed up for a check, but Last I heard, he's still there, right? So you got Charlo there. Now you got Terrence Crawford fighting Madrimov. And then see, here's the thing. If he beats Madrimov, everybody will just look at it as no big deal. Oh, that's what Terrence does. But understand, it takes talent, it takes skill, it takes will, it takes a lot of things to defeat these undefeated fighters because their mentality has not been tainted or damaged by defeat. Anybody that has lost before has a mindset in their mental that they've lost. So it's easier to take a loss. Now, I admit, if you lost once, you may make a vow and say, I will never lose again. And it's hard to take that one away from me because only one person did it and you may be able to avenge that one person. But 2, 3, 4 times, it makes it easier to figure out defeat. But if you've been beaten before, you already know how it feels. So you got Madrimov, which is what, 15-0, right? He's never been defeated. He's a guy that's another Eastern European fighter, Gennady Golovkin-ish, you know what I mean? And let's say he beats Terrence Crawford. You know what people are going to say? Terrence Crawford was overrated. Terrence Crawford, that's why he should have never fought Canelo. That's why he called out Canelo and knowing he had no chance. I hate when people do that. I hate when they do that because it's people, they're just so quick to jump on the guy that just took an L instead of congratulate the guy that they were in there with. Okay? Terrence Crawford is challenging himself in another weight class. Boots Ennis is at 147. Terrence Crawford is at 154. You also have Virgil Ortiz. Virgil Ortiz is a guy that's also, I believe, campaigning at 154. 154 is the weight class. It's the older version of welterweight because everybody is either migrated from 147 to 154, and there's not a lot of competition there. Okay? Jermell Charlo, I think he's been at 154 to be fair. Fondora's been at 154. Tim Tszyu, another 154 pounder. Virgil Ortiz was at 147. He fought guys like Mean Machine and those guys, and then now Terrence Crawford's moved up to fight Madrimov, which is a wild card because people don't know who the hell he is. And it's just crazy. But that was due to Jose Benavidez being inactive. Well, Sean T, I'll tell you, no one fought him since then, though. I don't know why he was inactive. But understand, when you pick an inactive fighter, you are aware that this man has been inactive, right? So you have a better chance of beating an inactive, rusty-ass fighter. His timing's off. He ain't been in the ring a long time. He ain't been on those bicycle pads a while. He ain't been there. He's dusty. He's rusty. And you know that. And a lot of people take fights like that because that's the easier fight to win, especially if they had a fight or two. But no, but back to Boots Ennis. He's tall, he's big as hell, bro. I bet you he walks around at 185. I bet you he does that. And then I think what happens, the higher weight class you go up, yeah, the fighters will be bigger, the competition will be a lot different, the punches will be a lot different. However, you would have to lose less weight, which helps you. Why do you think Ryan Garcia was able to be as strong as he was? He didn't have to go down to 140 just to gain the weight back, because all that takes energy. All the fluids and the stuff and the hard work and whatever the hell you're doing, to lose that weight, to hit that weight marker, you don't have to do it, so it's less to worry about. So you can worry more about or focus more on, kicking some ass. And I think Boots Ennis, he has a strong chin. He can take a shot. Again, David Avanesian, he's not known to be a pillow puncher. So, yeah, I like the idea that he's able to take a punch. But most importantly, I like the idea that he's able to trade shots. See, here's the thing. Guys like Stevenson, people are disliking him because he's afraid to get hit. That's why he doesn't get aggressive enough to give people an entertaining fight because his brand is poor, because he's apprehensive that he might get caught with something and get knocked out. That ain't Boots Ennis. Boots Ennis ass got caught and nailed with a hard right hand yesterday. And what ended up happening? He ended up delivering one back in return and dropping Avanesian on his ass. That's what happened, and it was very exciting to see. You want fighters like that. Now, when he goes to 154, who will be there? Fonfora will be there. Tim Tszyu will be there. Now will Terrence Crawford be there? I don't know. It depends on what Terrence does in a couple weeks. You know, but I mean, Boots Ennis, if he wanted to fight Terrence Crawford, I think Boots didn't want to fight Terrence. I think what Boots wanted to do, Boots wanted more of Errol Spence than Terrence Crawford because people are not dummies. They're not idiots. They know that hey, it was more money in fighting Errol Spence than Terrence Crawford. Terrence Crawford you'll get your ass whooped and then get knocked out, but you won't get the pay that Terrence would get versus Errol Spence. He will. Errol Spence will probably guarantee you a certain amount of money based on the sales. That's if the sales sell, right? So, yeah, watch Boots fight earlier. Yeah, Boots is a bad boy. Um, I would love to see him in there with Terrence Crawford. But here's the thing: I think there are levels, and I think he should do more. And, I think Boots Ennis should start stacking that DAZN money because he's soon or later going to get in there with somebody that's going to give him a fight that he may not be able to win. You know what I mean? A challenging fight that he may lose a decision to, or he may be somebody that may overpower him. That's what happens when you join the big boys. That's what happens when you fight guys that everybody wants you to see. Now, will he beat Conor Benn? I don't know. I think he probably could, but Conor Benn is also a guy that I think he needs to be tested as well, and I think he deserves to be tested as much as the next guy. Because, I mean, Conor Benn wants to fight these dudes. So if because Conor has asked Eddie for the Boots in his fight. So if that's the case, hey, give it to him. Errol Spence fighting this year. He's supposed to fight Fundora, but we don't know. I haven't seen any dates. There's no dates for the PBC. Them on Prime or any other platform or network. We haven't seen them. So we don't know. I mean, we hear it's going to happen. Hell, Erislandy Lada's supposed to fight Danny Garcia years ago, last year before that. And you're like, okay, when are these guys going to fight? Then Erislandy Lada, he ended up fighting lately. What was it, last year? Boots like Shakur never fought anyone bigger than them. Well, I think when he does, I think he'll be ready. And I think he will be similar to David Benavidez. He still beat some ass, kick some ass. David Benavidez, he beat Alexander Volsnik. But understand this, he didn't beat him the way he thought that he was going to beat him. And I feel that may be the problem with David Benavidez. I digress on that. But back to Boots Ennis. This man can take a punch. He has a beard. He can give a punch. He has punch variety. He has a good style, good ring IQ. His defense is good. He's not a Ben Whitaker. Ben Whitaker is like a less seasoned British version of Boots Ennis. You know what I mean? He's not as defensively sound, and he would rather look good first and win second. What I mean by that is he does and spends a lot of energy on showboating, which, don't get me wrong, is impressive. He is the reason why people are talking about him. Ben Whitaker is a guy that slips, dips, bobs, weaves, throws little pot shots and, gimmicks and stuff like that, double punches and all that type of stuff. But at the same time, he wins fights. But I think he's more flashy than effective. Yeah? So I think that's what it is about that. The hate Boots is getting is so weird, and it seems to be mostly the Bud fans to swear Bud can walk on water. This is what I don't like. This is what I don't like. And I was afraid this was going to happen to Bud. This is what I was afraid was going to happen. Bud has got to a place because he beat one guy in the eyes of a lot of people, and everybody just, praises him. You know what I mean? And I think, well, that's not the way that I think that people should be looking at Terrence, or do I feel Terrence wants to be viewed as. See, Terrence Crawford is better than just one fight. He's always been better than one fight. He's like a guy that you never heard of. Okay, take me for example. Let's say I book a major role in a film, and then all of a sudden I'm famous. Then everybody knows, oh, it's Kurt DeVille. Kurt DeVille, yeah, he's a podcaster, and yeah, and he's this and he's that, but man, the first thing people are gonna say is he came out of nowhere. And that's so far from the fucking truth. Because me, like Terrence Crawford, has been doing this shit a long time. I've been in the film industry for 15 years. I have over 60 films and television. So you're telling me that, oh, Kurt DeVille just came out of nowhere. Kurt DeVille just didn't come out of nowhere, just like Terrence Crawford didn't come out of nowhere. There were levels and milestones to everyone's career. So when some people start saying that Terrence Crawford is not, he just beat, he's the shit now because he just beat and only beat Errol Spence, and he'll run through all these other people. No, he's ran through all of these fighters that you never gave him credit for because you were a hating piece of shit, and that you were a Errol Spence, Errol sexual dick rider, pole smoker. That's what they were. Until he destroyed Errol Spence, and then all of a sudden, either you had excuses or you had, oh my God, he's just so good. I've been telling you he was that good. But now that he's just beat the one guy that I guess people validate from, he doesn't have to fight anybody else. Why is that? No, that's not the nature of Terrence Crawford. The nature of Terrence Crawford, he has the Roy Jones Jr. mentality. He wants to be the baddest man on the hill. He's not Floyd Mayweather. He doesn't have that mindset. Floyd wanted to make enough money and fight less opposition. That's what he would do. The easier fights, does it make more money? Give me that fight. Okay? The biggest fight he's ever done, he's made the most money, had the less risk. That's Floyd. That's not Terrence Crawford. That's not Roy Jones Jr. Those guys are cut from a different cloth. Floyd knows about that cloth that was ripped off, but he's not a part of that anymore. He's abandoned who he really was. His legacy will always be affected. I don't care how much money he has. He should have fought Keith Thurman. Fucking Manny Pacquiao did. You see what I mean? And Manny Pacquiao wasn't even the target. Manny didn't become the target until Floyd left the scene. Exit stage left. Then Manny, since Manny was still fighting, and Manny was that last pioneer legend, okay, someone was looking to pick him off to make their own name. He was the only name relevant that was going to help anybody else come up. That's why Keith Thurman, you better not duck me, son. You better not duck me, son. He was that guy that wanted Manny Pacquiao because he wanted to retire Manny Pacquiao because he wanted what Manny Pacquiao possessed. Just like Oscar De La Hoya beating Julio Cesar Chavez Sr., just like Manny Pacquiao beating Oscar De La Hoya, just like Floyd beating Oscar De La Hoya, just like Tyson Fury beating Vladimir Klitschko. It's milestone fights that you need in order to proceed. Bars. Okay? And that's what they wanted. But Floyd, no. Floyd got the hell out of Dodge. He fought Andre Berto. Let me take the easy route. Let me take the easy route. Gave this man $2-3 million. While Floyd boxed his head off like he knew he would. A guy that had already 4 fucking losses. Yeah. That guy. Now, we can go in depth. Did Floyd want to fight Andre Berto before? Yes, he did. Did he want to fight Andre before Berto? Did he want to fight Andre Berto while he was undefeated? Yes, he did. To be fair, I gotta tell it all. He did want to fight Andre Berto when he was undefeated. Unfortunately, he became defeated and defeated again. And defeated again. Victor Ortiz, Robert Guerrero, You know what I mean? Sean Porter. Those guys ran over Andre Berto. Okay. So then Floyd fights him. Floyd fought big names. Bud fought no names. Madrimov. Okay. See, Shadow Ben. I'm thinking that you are an Errol Spence fan, and you're still mad because Errol Spence got his ass whooped by Terrence Crawford. Errol Spence versus Terrence Crawford's resume. You say he's fought nobody. So why would you call Errol Spence nobody? Why would you call Sean Porter nobody? Jose Benavidez nobody? Why would you say Kell Brook is no one? Why would you say Why would you say Jeff Horn is no one? Victor Postol, no one. None of these fighters mean anything because now a nobody has beat them. Because the narrative is, oh, well, you know what? He ain't fought nobody. And the more nobodies he beats, that makes him nobody. So that's somebody that people used to talk about. They become nobody because Terrence Crawford beats them. I get it. Yeah, the hate is real. The hate is real. Also was 40 years old when he retired. No, he wasn't. He was 38. He was 38 years old when he retired, bro. He turned 38 years of age in 2017. You want to tell me about boxing? Let's go. Let's go. Oh, and you're trying to say 2017? No, he was 41. That was an exhibition. Okay? He officially retired from boxing when he fought Andre Berto. That was the last boxer he fought. Come on. I mean, why you guys capping? Madrimov, he's nobody. Okay, and then here's the problem. If Madrimov beats Terrence Crawford, then everybody's going, all the Terrence Crawford haters. See, the haters are just as they're just as harder than the fans of Crawford. The Bud what do you call them? Terrence Crawford fanboys and the Terrence Crawford haters are just like, they are the same, but the opposite. They both are obnoxiously shitty. Floyd about to fight Gotti. Okay, who the fuck is Gotti? John Gotti's son? Really? A guy he already fought? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Floyd Mayweather also beats Prime Triple G. We don't know that. Aggression, we don't know that. We don't know if he beats a Prime Triple G or not. We don't know. Floyd Mayweather also beats, I hate fanboyism. Like, why can't people just call it out the way they see it? Because fanboys don't see, look, listen. F-A-N, fan, is the root word of fanatical. Fanatical, fan, comes from fan. But when people say I'm a fan, they're really saying I'm fanatical. You know what I mean? Sub Kurt, and they're called Bud Buddies. They're called Bud Buddies. Okay, Flomos, Packtards, Aerosexuals, and Bud Buddies. Okay, got it. Bud Buddies. That sounds more like some potheads, but Bud Buddies. Okay. So, you look at Madrimov, undefeated guy. You know, who is he? Yeah, he's an unknown dude. That's what makes him that much more dangerous. Manny Pacquiao was once upon a time unknown. A lot of people were unknown until they were known. They sound like potheads. Bud Buddies. Bud is fighting the toughest. See, here's the thing. Like, Boxing shows people who they really are. Boxing and the way boxing is evolving and how it formulates and how it moves. Boxing moves very strangely but effectively fair. Okay, let me give you an example. Bud Crawford, if he loses to Madrimov, people are going to say, first of all, you're going to have the Bud buddies, right? Oh, he's too old. Then you're going to have the aerosexuals that Bud beat up. Oh, see, I told you Errol was just hurt. Then what happens? Errol's going to beat the big tall guy, Fundora. Now, the first thing people are going to say is, oh, Errol Spence looks better at 154. Yeah, that's why Terrence didn't want to fight him at 154. Yeah. And then Errol Spence may and then fight because he knows that Terrence is lost. He doesn't necessarily have to fight Terrence no more because Terrence no longer has a belt and he no longer is undefeated and he doesn't really feel he needs to avenge that loss, right? So what he will do is he will fight Madrimov. And when Madrimov destroys him, then everybody will understand, like, oh my God. And you know what'll happen? People will acknowledge, hey, a star is born. But they're not going to acknowledge that, hey, he's a star because he beat the best fighters there. Okay, that's what it is. So, dude, it's crazy. Like, Madrimov looks like he's a tough. He looked like his nose been broken a couple times. Like, I'm a Bud fan who almost wants to see him not do so well versus Madrimov just because I'm sick of seeing Boots fights filled with comments about how Bud would destroy him. What's good, my guy listening from New York, Kenneth Rivera? What's up, brother? Counterpunch to you. Dubois sends AJ the Shadow Realm and say he does in round one. Would that be a good enough showing to get a rematch with Usyk, or would he still need more wins? No. If Daniel Dubois knocked out Anthony Joshua, that means he needs to get what Anthony Joshua was going to get. A fight between the winner of Fury and Usyk. There is no other bullshit. He shouldn't fight Parker. He shouldn't fight Jarrell Miller again. They should give him what they gave AJ. That's favoritism through and through. I don't do that shit. AJ then will have, 4 losses. He's been beat by Andy Ruiz, Alexander Usyk twice, and Daniel Dubois at that point. And at that point, give Daniel Dubois his credit because he's beat Jarrell Miller, he's beat Filip Hrgovic, he's beat Anthony Joshua, and he wants his go again with Usyk. Okay? So, yeah, I would say give it to him because, look, all these other fighters, man, think about all these other fighters that we have today. The three dragons, or what, the three-headed dragon. We had Tyson Fury, we have Anthony Joshua, we have Deontay Wilder. All those motherfuckers are rich. It's time for Daniel Dubois to start making some of that big money, too. Yeah, he got $1 million here, $1 million there. I don't know if he may have $1 million in the bank, but I think he's entitled, just like those other guys, to show himself, to show what he's about if he knocks out Anthony Joshua, because Joshua is the second highest paid, or maybe the third, because Tyson did make a lump sum against Usyk, in the sport. So I think that he deserves another shot at Usyk. You know what I mean? Why wouldn't he? No, he's not as exciting. No, he's shy. He's young. He's kind of bashful. But I mean, it is what it is. He's learning. He's trying. But one thing about Danny Dubois, if he knocks out Anthony Joshua, he'll prove that he's a young lion. Bars. Hi, I like your show. No, I didn't block you. Let's see. Xavier Williams, what's up, brother? Counterpunch to you. But no, Daniel Dubois deserves everything that they were going to give Anthony Joshua. You know what I mean? That's what I don't like about certain situations. It applies to one person, but if that one person gets beat, it doesn't apply to the person that beat him. Why and how the hell is that fair? That means there's no reward to the person that wins. It's just that we didn't think he was going to win, and now we got to scramble up with some more shit based on money or all that stuff. You know, Sydney, I like your show. I appreciate you. Appreciate you. But no, yeah, Danny Dubois, that deserves a rematch from him. So we'll see what Danny does against Anthony Joshua. I think the fight will be good. I think if here's the thing about Dubois, okay, Dubois is young, he's fresh, he's durable. He has battle scars, and here's the thing about his battle scars. His battle scars have either hurt him or helped him. And it seemingly, has helped him because the scars that he created were, I think, psychological scars. Of course, he has the eye thing, and I think that's a factor that could come relevant again in other fights because, he had a broken orbital bone. I mean, the question you ask yourself is, what happened to other people when they got hurt in the orbital bone? What happened to Kell Brook? He got his other orbital bone broke in. So, I mean, that could come back to haunt him once again. Bars. Sean Calvert, hi from Sydney, Australia. Is there a way to make the font bigger? If that would be so much easier. Let me see. Okay, let's see here. Let's see. Boxing is more of a sport based on what makes the most money. Well, it can be. What I noticed though, it's all a scientific gamble. If you're a good gambler, you can be pretty successful at calling fights and winning money, but that doesn't always mean you're going to win each and every time. So you can't just throw caution to the wind and bet on every sure thing because there's not a sure thing in boxing. That's what makes boxing damn near fair because there will be times where you think. See, Anthony Joshua was supposed to mow over fat ass Andy Ruiz, wouldn't he? He's supposed to took Andy Ruiz out, gave this man $4 or $5 million, and Andy's supposed to be smiling still to this day because he was able to fight one of the biggest superstars in the sport at the time. Right? That didn't happen. AJ was supposed to fight Wilder. That shit didn't happen. It never happened. So no, I mean boxing is fair in its own way. First time Joshua hasn't got a rematch clause. Well, why would he want one? And why would he need one? Why would he need a rematch clause if he's the challenger? He's not the mandatory. He's not. See, that's what people need to understand. He's not the mandatory. He's the cash cow, and everybody knows he's the cash cow. But at the end of the day, Danny Dubois, is this still on? Let me turn this off. Let me plug this up. Danny Dubois is the champion. I don't care how he got it, because in my mind, this is how I look at Danny Dubois. Danny Dubois, we really need to give Danny Dubois a break. Why? Because for one, they call this man a paper champion, an email champion. And they call him that because he received the IBF after Alexander Usyk asked for an extension and then decided to give it up. Then he gave it up, and then the IBF took it and they gave it to Danny Dubois, right? Since they gave it to Danny Dubois, since they gave it to him, well, people are ridiculing him. I'll do a video about this, but understand, while I have you guys here,
Danny Dubois is very well much more a champion than someone like Charles Martin. You know why? Because Charles Martin didn't beat anyone, knock out anyone, or anything. The fighter his knee got jacked up and he couldn't continue. It wasn't because he won, it was because the other guy couldn't qualify to fight again. That was the poorest example of becoming a champion on the same belt, IBF, right? So therefore, Charles Martin was the IBF champion, and he went over to England and got his ass whooped by Anthony Joshua in like 2 rounds or something, maybe 3, and that was it. You know what I mean? Danny Dubois just went to hell and high water and showed a guy that was ridiculing him, a guy that was talking shit about him, a guy that was questioning his balls and his heart and saying that he was a quitter and a dumb child and all this stuff. He was talking a lot of shit about Danny Dubois, and Danny Dubois showed him in the ring and busted him up. And by the way, that really should have been the IBF or for the IBF anyway. And he's basically, in hindsight, he won that fight. Okay? He won it because that was supposed to be the fight that was up for the IBF because Filip Hrgović was tired of waiting. He was tired of waiting for Usyk and Tyson to get their shit together, or Tyson to fight Usyk and Usyk asking for extensions and asking the IBF to wait. Since they gave him that permission, they were like, enough is enough. Because there shouldn't be a rematch right now. You should satisfy your mandatory for the IBF. Since he was like, I need more extension because I've already signed a contract to fight Tyson Fury anyway. That means he couldn't do that at that time. So he asked for permission. And then that permission was granted at the time. Then he thought, you know what? Fuck that IBF belt. Here, take it. And they gave it to Danny Dubois, which Danny Dubois already kicked Filip Hrgovic's ass anyway, which was the #1 mandatory in the first place. So, yes, Daniel Dubois, to me, he deserves to be the IBF champion of the world. Because if it was up for that belt and they were going to give it to Filip Hrgovic, and Hrgovic actually fought Dubois for it, which they fought anyway, that was going to be the verdict. Somebody was going to be the champion, right? It's just the way it happened. Don't mean it didn't happen the way it should have. The actions happened. It just wasn't for what we thought it was going to be for. The fight wasn't for what we thought it was going to be for, but it actually technically was, because who won received the belt, and Danny Dubois tapped that ass and he got that win. So they gave it to Danny Dubois by default. That's it. Okay. Filip Hrgovic retired, or was he just bluffing? I don't know. I need to holler at my boy True School Sports to see if he can get another interview with him. Because Filip Hrgovic, he needs to redeem himself as well. He's on the redemption list. Why? For one, he talked a lot of shit. For two, he put himself way on this pedestal like Danny Dubois couldn't go nowhere near him as far as skill set and style and ability and all that stuff. And he goes in there and yes, he gets cut. And that's unfortunate. But then, he looked like a limited fighter in there. Bow, 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 bow. That's all he was doing. It was all he was doing. Whereas, Dubois was throwing rights, lefts, body punches. Yes, he was leaning in with his head. And I would love to see how and what Filip Hrgovic feels about that. But, my only problem with Filip is when they waved that fight off, Filip didn't put up much of a fight. He didn't put up a fight on what the hell, why the hell did you stop it? I was ready to go. When he didn't put up that fight, that let me know right there that this man didn't want to fight no more. He was almost relieved that this shit, the hell? He was almost relieved that this fight, was, he was glad it was over. Skrilla 50 in the building. Psycho Crusher in the building. Kind of getting tired of rematches immediately. Psycho Crusher, what's up, champ? Everybody, love the camaraderie. Love the camaraderie here. But no, that's all that really was. That's what happened in that situation. That is exactly what happened. Okay? Hold on a second. Okay, sorry about that. Had to, the hell? Okay, cool. All right. Help me. What's up, The Deep? The Deep. Is that The Deep from, oh, dude, is that The Deep from The Boys? Love that show. Crazy as hell, though. Let's see. What happened, everybody? Damn, we just dropped like 30 people off. Usyk clocked, or clocked the game bonus level. Now, well, it is what it is. But no, Daniel deserves to be IBF champion because he fought and beat the guy that was number one anyway. Okay? I hope that makes sense to a lot of people. You know, if it doesn't, I don't know what to tell you. I just explained it in its entirety to you. You know? So, no, Anthony Joshua does not deserve a rematch. No, he doesn't. You know, but I'm glad we're having these type because it gives me a lot more material to deal with to give out to you guys later on. Kurt, if Boots fights Crawford like he fought the night, then Crawford would dog walk Boots. Well, first of all, I would hope Boots is smart enough to understand he's not in there with Avanesian. He's not in there with this pressure fighter, fight behind your jab, Eastern European fighter that is really limited. He's fighting someone that fights in both stances. He's fighting someone that can punch hell of hide harder. He's fighting someone that has that dog in him that he's going to be tested. Yeah, he's going to know better. You know what I mean? When he hit when he hit Avanesian, you know, it knocked him off his stance. It knocked him off his stance because he wasn't accustomed to that type of power. See, Boots Ennis is a bigger welterweight. He's a big dude anyway. You know? Curtis Boots fights Crow. Yeah, so, no. Like, people do that and say that, but understand. Boots is smart enough to fucking know that he ain't going, like, if he's not going to fight Crawford like that. Don't worry. He ain't going to fight Crawford like that. At all. Okay? So, there you go. He's not going to fight Crawford like that. Ngannou's big name fights behind him after AJ executed him, or will his name from MMA still carry from bigger name news? Well, I'll say this, Mark B. I'll say this. If Francis Ngannou never comes back to the sport again, he did 50%, he did 100% more than Conor McGregor. He did twice as much more than Conor McGregor. You know, Conor McGregor got beat, and then Conor McGregor never came back to the sport of boxing again. Did it make him a millionaire beyond belief? Yeah. You know, but he never returned. You know what I mean? So, you know, you can't give a quitter that much credit because he decided never to return. He decided, I don't want it no more. You know? But never fought anybody with Boots' size, speed, and power. Well, I'll tell you this. Postol at 140 when Terrence came from 135 to fight him at 140. Postol was a taller guy, but I think he was just taller than the guys at the weight class. So I may be a little mistaken on that. I knew he was, you know, he was Freddie Roach's fighter, and I knew that he was a mother sucker at 140. And Bud went up there and took him apart pretty easily. You know, he didn't fall for all the rangy angles, you know, the Tommy Hearn-like angles that Postol had. Terrence figured all that shit out. See, the thing is, I like the idea of Boots in Terrence because Boots has similar attributes to Terrence. You know what I mean? I just think that Terrence and Boots would make an explosion. I think it's a tiger versus a dragon. Boots is a tiger. Terrence is a dragon. Tigers are fierce, very aggressive, right? Tigers. This is a tiger. This is a dragon, right? And you're like, well, what the hell is the difference? The dragon always has another choice. The tiger don't. And what do I mean by that? I mean, Tyson, the Tiger in Boots Ennis, he may be aggressive, but does he have what it takes to beat someone that has so many other dimensions? Boots got raw ability. Terrence is more fluid. I like Boots Ennis. I just think Boots Ennis to Terrence Crawford is like Erislandy Lara to Floyd Mayweather. Yeah. And you're like, well, what do you mean by that? Well, what I mean by that is Floyd fought at the same time as Erislandy Lara, but there was no damn fight. You know what I mean? And they like Floyd knew Erislandy Lara. But did you see, have you ever heard Floyd Mayweather call out Erislandy? Especially the Erislandy that fought guys like Canelo Alvarez, Paul Williams. That Erislandy Lara, that. You know, that, no. He never fought anyone like that. And Floyd knew better. Like, look, and I'm not saying Floyd is like Terrence, because I don't think Terrence is afraid of Boots Ennis. I just think Floyd knew, and he was smart enough not to fight someone like Lara, because the last thing that Floyd needs is anybody that looks like they can compete with himself. Floyd Mayweather is a fighter that markets himself based on the perception that he's so much better than everyone else. Here is Floyd way up here. Everyone else is down here. And this is where they're staying. Not here, but here. Sometimes you may see a fighter that gets here that may come like, oh man, he gave him a good fight. But never a fighter to come up here that's up on his heels, that's right there at that bridge of his level and his capacity, or God forbid, like equal. Never. Never, bro. Floyd was not going to allow that. So you think he was going to go in there? Let him fight 2015. Let him fight Erislandy Lara instead of Roberto. It would have never happened. Oh, hell no. We ain't going to have that fight. I ain't fighting Erislandy Lara. He ain't going to fight him. I'm not fighting Lara. Spence washes Boots. Well, we got to see it. We got to see it. We got to see that fight. Why not? Hell no. No, I don't think that would happen. I don't think that would happen. You know, honestly, I don't think that would happen. I think Floyd fighting someone like Erislandy Lara would be very bad. That would be a bad style matchup for Lara. You know why? Because Zab Judah was very competitive against Floyd for a while until Floyd turned on. And the more Floyd engaged and turned on, the more he started countering him. You know, and then Zab Judah ran out of gas. Zab had nothing else left, okay, after probably about the 6th round or 7th round. You know, but Zab Judah was definitely game because Zab was showing how quick, how compact, how accurate he was, okay? He was that guy. So since he was that guy, okay, he was the guy that actually tested Floyd to the best of the ability at the time, all right? And since he did that, he made people like, wow, wait a minute. The southpaw stance did not work on the Philly shell did not work on the southpaw. Spence has a new coach, so we don't know where he is at this point. Spence is the same fighter. Spence will always be the same fighter. He will be a very active fighter. He will be a fighter that's very his offense is his best weapon. His activity, how active he is, how many punches he throws. Is he able to break you down round after round? Spence is that. I think people they misread Spence. They thought Spence was this big guy that nobody else could handle. People could handle him. Danny Garcia. And Danny, he handled Spence, but Spence handled Danny. It's just people thought, oh, well, Danny's never been defeated. I mean, sorry, he's never been knocked down or stopped. And that's the fact. But someone like Danny was able to handle the punches that he had. I think a lot of these fighters will get taken apart by someone that they can't deal with their style. I think Errol Spence is good at breaking you down round after round and beating you up. I think Terrence Crawford finds a way to hurt you and to execute you. He gets you out of there. He assassinates you. Errol Spence just bruises you and beats you down. Okay? So I think that's the difference between that. There are two different type fighters. You know, Spence is good. He works everything behind the jab, but it's very basic. And if you understand, you know, boxing arithmetic, you could be able to deal with that with counters. Does slipping a bullet making him a better defense fighter than? Nah, he's still not better than Mayweather. Sorry. Floyd has avoided thousands of punches. Right? He don't compare to Floyd. Money Mayweather. Okay. So there you go. But no, man, other than that, it was a good fight with Jared Boots Ennis. He needs to stay active. He does. You know, again, in closing, guys, my heart goes out to the person that was killed yesterday. Not the person that didn't, not the person that shot, but the person that actually lost a life. And it's none of that shit's worth losing your life, especially, you know, it's because it's not life or death for you to show up at those damn rallies or support any fucking body besides you and your family. So, you know what I mean? And if you think so, you're sadly mistaken. But anyway, guys, I thank you guys for coming on. I appreciate you guys for listening to me through boxing and other. And I will see you guys on the next video. Peace.